Welcome to Let's Make People Smile. Let's smile together, my lovelies.
Hello my lovelies, welcome to a new episode of Anime Talk. This one is going to be slightly different because usually when it comes to my anime talks, it's usually my first impressions of like the first episode of a good or bad anime, new or old. But today I kind of want to change things up because I want to talk about my first impression of watching the whole entire season of an anime. And that anime is Dress Up Darling. So my history is that I actually have been reading the manga for Dress Up Darling for quite a long while now, since it's been like releasing in English copies, which I completely forgot what year that it specifically came out in, but I really love the series a lot, and then when I heard there was an anime adaptation coming out, I was kind of skeptical about it. Now here's my thing, when it comes to stuff that I really passionately enjoy become an anime, and I'm just like absolutely shocked to the quality of how that adaptation turns out to be. It's a big old surprise, you know. I think the biggest examples I can think of is, you know, how they did Fruit Basket from the manga to the anime of the 2019 version of it. And also, I think the biggest one, I think it's the absolute triumphant of manga to anime adaptation, to which the anime even excels the manga in a lot of ways, is definitely Mob Psycho 100. So I was curious because the art in the manga was already fantastic enough, but how did the anime improve all of that and even make it even better than the manga in some areas? So let's give off a little synopsis of what My Dress Up Darling is all about. So basically we follow our main character Gojo. He's really into making Hina dolls, and he's kind of kept to himself. He's very shy, he's very introverted, and then suddenly out of nowhere someone falls literally into his life, which turns out to be our secondary character, which is Marin, or basically another main character because of how the series focuses on both of them as they're both protagonists, like main protagonists. But anyways, so she's like, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like bump in literally on your table, and Gojo's like, nah, it's cool. And then you get like a little insight of Marin being the type of person that would never judge a person by just something that they like. Like, for example, she likes anime stuff, video game stuff, and she just thinks it's like terrible for people to like bash on someone's passions. And Gojo's like, oh shoot, that's pretty neat of her to say. So later on he like goes into the sewing room so that he can work in some Hina doll stuff, and then lo and behold, our girl Marin comes walking in and then sees Gojo in action with the Hina doll, and he's like, no, she's gonna judge me. But Marin's like the opposite. She's like, oh my god, this is like really cool, like you can sew. And so this whole sort of thing happens, and she's like, so I've been trying to make my own cosplay and I just don't know how to sew. Will you help me make my cosplay? And basically that's where their friendship starts to shine, and shenanigans, all those shenanigans happen, and you know, growing closer and knowing one's feelings for one another. I would consider this probably like romantic comedy and definitely ecchi, which we have tackled in the show before, but on a lesser sense than something like Interspecies Reviewer, which that one was just full on and close to being hentai. Actually, in a lot of cases, that was actually close to being hentai. Now let me just bring this elephant out in the room. I don't think that My Dress Up Darling is in the same category as stuff like freaking this anime that I talked about, or even this series that I haven't talked about, and I think it's an okay series. But people try to categorize My Dress Up Darling with these two animes, and I can't see why, you know? Because when it comes to the male protagonists in a lot of those series, they really don't have that much defining characteristics in themselves. They can just be people that you can insert yourself in as a male viewer. They really don't have that much characteristics. They're not at all interesting. There could be some tiny bit of character development with those characters, but it's far few in between. However, with Dress Up Darling, Gojo is a well-rounded third-dimensional character. He has his struggles. He's going through a lot of character development from being less shy and being more open to all the people that's around him. He's really interested in everything that comes of cosplay, to how the makeup works, how sizing works, to how it's cool that a female can cosplay as a male and how a male can cosplay as a female. You know, it's it's so well, he's just a good boy. He's just a well-rounded good boy of a character. And I can definitely say that from our end, because on the surface of it, you can be like, oh, she's gonna be one of those like snobby, preppy girls, but she is absolutely not that character whatsoever. She's compassionate, she's caring, she goes a little bit over the top, she gets super excited, she gets super hyped, and when she gets concerned about someone, she gets freaking concerned. Like, she always wants to make sure that everyone around her is okay, she wants to make sure Gojo's okay, and I don't know, like, the day that these two get together, the day that I've become happy. I don't know. You ever just like watch something in fiction, you're like, oh, they're gonna get together eventually, like stuff like Spy Family, you know those two are eventually gonna get together. But I'm just like, I'm waiting for the day, and like, I'm just like, ooh, what if they do like a couple cosplay, and that's how like they get together, and it's just like, they do photo shoots and they kiss. I don't know, I like to think about this sort of thing, because like, it's very unclear to when these two will eventually get together, and that makes it really, really exciting, and I haven't really felt that as like an audience or a viewer, just like, when are you two gonna get together? Because, like I said before, in a lot of cases, it's very obvious. And I know it's gonna be obvious that they get together, but I'm just like, when? When? I want them together now! I want Gojo to finally cosplay. See, that's the final character arc where he's like, okay, I'll cosplay with you, Marin. That's how it's gotta go. That's how they get together. Or, like, that's the end game. Gojo cosplays Marin. They do a couple cosplay. That is the final arc. Also, another facet that I was absolutely blown away by in every single episode was the animation. Oh my god, why isn't in every episode something fluid and something just spectacular is happening with the animation? Like, the scene where Gojo agrees to help make Marin's cosplay, she's just so giddy and overjoyed, like she bounces around the room and like her facial expression is just, they made it so fluid. And also, the whole entire beach scene with those two is probably one of my favorites from this anime. It's so fluid, it's so beautifully done, the music choice is done right, like everything about it was so fantastic. And just the scene where Marin just like suddenly realizes her feelings for Gojo when they're on the train. Absolutely adorable. I love it so much. And also, another elephant in the room we need to talk about, which, you know, I brought up ecchi a little bit earlier in the video. We need to talk about episode 11. We need to talk about episode 11, because holy crap. That was more friggin' sexual tension than I ever felt in anything in a while. Like, even more than, like, hentai that I watch for fun. Like, the whole context of it, it's like, they're in a hotel, they hear naughty things happening. You know, she's, like, on top of him because he wanted to take, like, a cool, like, shot of, like, the character that she's cosplaying as. Poor Gojo, he pops one up, and then he's like, oh shoot, get off, and she's like, wait, what? And stuff happens, and I gotta say, I just got to say that the sound design from like that episode, and then episode 12, which I'll talk about in just a second, big intimate moment there. Oh my god, I was just like, huh, okay, what? Why is this more intimate than like any other hentai that I watched? You know, in the more sexual tension way. Like, I'm just like, whoa, hold on, that's a lot. That's a lot. Oh my god, that's like, oh. I was so just taken aback. I'm like, this is so well done. Just like the sound, the lack of music, and it's like what, a minute long of like these two characters like in this position, just like looking at each other, breathing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my guy. It feels like I'm listening to like a weird like anime ASMR thing. I don't know. It's like the breathing one. We tackled ASMR on this channel. You should watch that video. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention in this video, if you like the content that I make, you can like, comment, subscribe. I don't like doing this, but I'm gonna do it because apparently it helps out. So if you like my content, which would be anime, video games, manga, art, whatever the heck I do on this channel, click that subscribe button and hit that bell notification to see what kind of videos will be coming up without you missing it. Now that that promotional bit about my channel was out of the way, let's continue. But yeah, I think that's like basically the case when it comes to episode 11. Like, the build up to it, the climax, haha, because Gojo is like at home, he's like, oh my god, this is so stupid, I can't believe I'm doing this tomorrow. Like, there is a climax, but, oh my gosh, yeah, episode 11, I was really taken aback. I was like, what the frick? You do not want to watch this on, like, your public television, I'm just saying. And then you have, like, stuff like episode 12, which I think it perfectly wraps up volumes 1 through 5 perfectly of the manga series. It was really funny because it was, like, you know, last episode aired, and then, like, a couple of weeks later, we finally get, like, volume 5. And, like, they wrap up a whole entire season's worth perfectly under 5 volumes of the manga. Let me put that in perspective. It's like the first 4 or 5 volumes of Promised Neverland of like season 1. The way that they wrapped it up was very perfectly well done for season 1 of Promised Neverland. Same for Dress Up Darling. They did it so well. And like I said with the sound design, like the scene where like they're laying in bed because like Marin got like spooked by some like scary movie that she and Gojo watched together. She's like, stay on the phone with me. And then like he suddenly falls asleep and you can hear like the soft like sleeping noises, and I'm just like, it's so cute. It's so cute. It's like the subtle things. I'm just like, they really do pay attention to like the smallest types of details, and I'm really glad with this adaptation. Like I said, I was scared when it came to this adaptation because I really, really like this series a lot. It's fun. It's adorable, it's charming, and you can tell that there has been put a lot of love when it comes to the world of cosplay. I know that some people did say that there is some wrong information when it comes to some cosplay stuff. I am a cosplayer myself, though I rarely get the chance to sew because my sewing abilities are not the greatest, and I'm still sort of like a babby beginner when it comes to it. So there might be some things that the anime didn't 100% get correct, but you can just tell that the person who wrote this series was very passionate about the world of cosplay. If you look at like the back of like the mangas, the mangaka like talks about like the locations that they went to like take pictures for like references and stuff, because you can honestly tell when it comes to both the manga and the anime adaptation that they're taking real references of the actual shop. You can kind of see that with like the filter in the anime. They like go to like this specific cosplay shop or fabric shop, and you can just see that kind of like, it's not like badly Photoshop filter over it, but you could obviously tell that this was like a picture of this location, but they kind of like touched it up to make it fit more with the characters in the scene. And yeah, you can just really just tell with the whole, just, you know, not like doing the basis of research when it comes to cosplay, you know? And I'm just like, I love it. I love it when it's just a series about just passion, you know? And that's what makes not only this anime, but this whole series very, very, like, loved by me and a lot of people. It's just the passion that goes behind it, when it goes behind the art, when it goes behind, you know, all the characters with one another, when it goes, you know, with the animation, the music, you know. It's all about loving what you do. That's the whole point of this series. Like, it's Gojo being better, you know, worth of himself. He's trying to learn more about his abilities as him, like, being able to make clothes, and also him being better at Hina dolls, you know, like, doing this makeup, which also helps because he does makeup for Marin, and it's just, like, you know, these two things core link with each other. Like, he can do things for Marin and enjoy being around her, but also he can improve his own skills as someone who wants to really master making really good Hina dolls. And I don't know, there's the scene where he's trying to make Marin's first cosplay, and then where he realizes that he's not only letting Marin down, but also letting himself down. He straight up just breaks down, and I think that's a scene that anyone who creates anything when it comes to art can relate to. We're at our breaking point, and we just don't know if we can actually make it in time. But with that sheer hope in his mind, he gathered up the courage and just rushed through to make that cosplay, still crying a little bit in his eyes, but you can tell that he was very passionate to get this cosplay done. Not only to prove himself, but also just to make the one that he cares about happy. And I'm just like, this is why Gojo's a good character. Like, I don't know, all the characters in this series are so just fun. Even the other girls in the series, they're also like a bunch of fun. You know, you get your little accidental oopsie poopsies, I accidentally saw you naked sort of thing. But like I said, it's never in like very poor taste. Like, Gojo's like, oh shoot, I'm sorry. He's not like the typical like perverted like male character that's just like oonga boonga naked woman. Like, he's like, oh shoot, I'm really, really sorry. I did not know you were in my house. Why are you in my house? You are a person I don't know. Like, there is like, honest to God, misunderstanding, like, in the most realistic of senses. Like, I have no idea who you are. I'm so sorry that I saw you naked. Please. But like all those other characters are fine too. Like I always forget their like the other two characters' names, like the big sister and the little sister. Like the little sister's like really tall, and she's like, oh, I just like doing photography, like I haven't done anything else. And the whole twist is like she wants to cosplay, but the bigger twist is that she cosplays as like the male character in it, and like she's like, oh shoot, I hope they don't think I'm like weird, but like everyone else is just like, no, that's awesome. Like as a person who primarily cosplays as like male dudes, I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, I'm just hoping that they make season 2, because I know now with, you know, Cloverworks and all the hard dedicated work that went into this anime, if they do eventually make a season 2, I know it's going to continue to be the great quality that it was throughout the whole entire series. And I don't know, just looking back on this, I'm like, now I really want to get back to like getting into cosplay, because it's something that I've missed, and I have a plethora of characters that I want to cosplay as, and I just want to get back to that point where I could be happy dressing up as characters that make me happy. And that was also the whole point with these characters too, like Marin, like the first character she wanted to cosplay as is a character that like she cares about really deeply and has a connection to it. Even though it's from like a hentai video game, she still has that sort of attachment to a character. Like for me personally, if I were to cosplay as my #1 cosplay, it definitely would be Sora from Kingdom Hearts, because, you know, I have this massive attachment to this character, and I would love to literally be that character because how much I appreciate the character. And it's the same for the other side characters too. With this, for the bigger sister character being into this sort of magical girl series, that she wanted to make the perfect cosplay for it, and then she Gojo's like work, she's like, oh shoot, you can make really good cosplay. I know I can like trust you in your hands to make this like a reality. And it's just really sweet. Like people who categorize this as kind of like an incel sort of like cooming anime, I'm like, I understand that this series is not meant for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. You're not forced to watch this series. Like, no one else is ever forced to watch or read anything. But I just want to say that, you know, looks can be deceiving, and this is definitely not the case. This is definitely, like, the same case as people saying that Berserk is nothing but, you know, a series that has nothing of value. It's just only there for raw reaction to this edgy stuff that's happening, even though in that context, all of that has a place in the story, which, by the way, Berserk is coming back. I'll have to talk about that in a future video, because holy crap, I was not expecting that. But yeah, if you're a person who loves nothing more than great chemistry, you know, a really down-to-earth sort of style of anime, if you love just a good feel anime with a little bit of ecchi, this show is for you. It's great. I love it. I highly recommend it. Like I said before, it's not for everyone. Some people, even it's the minimal of ecchi, they're still not a big fan of it. I totally get it. It's honestly got 100% understandable. Sometimes a lot of those scenes can make certain people uncomfortable. As a person who's just been watching anime since the dawn of what I can remember, I've just become so used to it. Kill la Kill told me that ecchi is okay, because they always have a purpose. Sometimes. It depends, you know? But yeah, it's kind of good to talk about like a whole series as one. This is without a script usually. This doesn't really count as like an anime review. I might do it more in depth in the future if like say the whole anime is wrapped up or the whole manga is wrapped up, or both, and then I can really compare and contrast between the two. But yeah, I am happy with how My Dress Up Darling turned out, and it was probably my favorite thing I watched so far this year. So what do you lovelies think about My Dress Up Darling? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section below. And this is the end of this week's anime talk. Next week, I will go back to my usual traditions and just talk about the first few episodes of a series, or maybe just depending how many episodes I watch, we're going to be talking about next time. The one, the only, the now popular shonen anime, Jujutsu Kaisen, because people have been wondering, even outside of YouTube, what I think about this series. I don't know, I haven't watched it yet, but tune in, not next Friday, but the Friday afterwards, because I do this series, like, every 2 Fridays, or however the heck that works. Anyways, I hope you lovelies enjoyed this video. This is probably way more longer than any anime talk that I've done in quite some time. So this has been fun. Remember to hit the subscribe button in the below, because, you know, If you want to see more of me, then you can, for free! And also, there might be some content coming out on Patreon in the future, because I'm actually going to try to use my Patreon. It's only for a support system, but I'm going to be trying to put more content on there. It's probably going to be content which wouldn't be really allowed on YouTube, but we'll see about that. We'll see about that. I've been planning on what I'm going to put on my Patreon, because I don't want it to just linger into, like, nothingness, so thank you, lovelies, for watching. I appreciate any support, and like I said, I do a lot of things on this channel, so check it out. Anyways, I got to go, so I love you, lovelies. You're the best. Keep doing what you're doing, and just keep smiling, you know? Just, yeah. This is Rachel, or Smile, however you want to call me, and I am signing off. A peace.